Hello and welcome to Growth, the podcast. Today we're sitting down with Nishan, the CEO of Olas Coco. It's been a football academy that they started, I think, in 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
2017 is correct.
2017 was its main kickoff. I'm sure there was some work behind it before that, but main kickoff, and now we're sitting at 2024, 7 years later, and he's grown it into something, I think, in the football club training market and industry that is doing something that I think is on another level compared to a lot of other guys that have come across and see. But I'll get Nishan to explain to you the rest. Nishan, welcome to Growth, the podcast. How's it?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks for having me. Okay, so basically, Olas Coco was born. The idea was born in 2016. So it was basically an idea born behind trying to provide high quality training sessions, so that kids could improve. So it wasn't a thing of where we just take the kids, run around, and then expect them to go win on a Sunday. We wanted to give them proper training sessions, and then that way they help them improve and develop. So you give them the tools so that when Sunday comes and it's a match day, then they're actually competing in a way where you wouldn't really be seeing them compete if you don't give them the tools. The model started in 2017 where we started coaching. So it was in April of 2017 where we coached 2 players. So those 2 players played for a club called Tigers Football Club in Lenasia, and we did some extra training for them. They would come like on a Saturday morning and they would train, and they started doing well in their teams. They were initially players that were more or less on the bench, and then they started doing well, competing, started getting first team, sort of preference. And then that's how we started growing. More parents seen it and they said, okay, listen, where are these boys training? And they recommended Olas Coco, and then we started training 3 more, 4 more, 5 more. In 2019, we had close to 200 players just before COVID hit. So in the year of 2020, when COVID came, we actually started our own league. So it was an internal league, purely for development. So nothing about winning, nothing about getting trophies, etc. It was purely development. So the rules were even a bit different to what your normal football rules were. There was more focus on passing, counting the amount of passes more than counting goals, playing out from the back, not just kicking. So those types of things is what the requirements of the league were. And Alhamdulillah, it ran quite well up until COVID came. When COVID came, we had to shut everything down, as you know, and then we had to rebuild from scratch again. So we trained also during COVID, and we had an online training program where we downloaded Zoom, and then our kids would then train, over Zoom online. So that also kept the guys going. It kept us going because, we were training 5 times a week, and when COVID came, we became very bored. So we weren't really doing much. And then we came up with an online training program where kids would then log on to Zoom. I would watch them train. They would train. We probably had about 40, 50 lighties at the time training on Zoom. So that also was good. It kept them busy. It kept them training. And then when we were ready to resume again, I think we resumed from 200. We went to about 60 or 70. So it was a big cut from where we were. But then we spent the whole of 2021, 2022 regrowing. So basically the model worked where you would train with us and you would play for whoever you wanted. The reason we did that is because we weren't ready for us to go into league teams, both from a competitive point of view and also from a full numbers point of view. So we said, listen, we'll carry on training. The players can play for whichever clubs they want, and we will then improve them for those coaches or for those teams. And players started doing excelling in their clubs. And then in 2023, last year, in the beginning of the year or close like 2022, end of the year, we then said, listen, we've got enough players now, both from a competitive point of view and from a numbers point of view, to at least compete in a league. So then we brought the league called JSL, which was our league. We brought that back. So there was competition between Lodium, Azadville. There's 2 Lodium teams, Azadville. There was a Lens team. So we basically then played like a round robin. Every 2 weeks we would go and play in a different location. So the benefits with that is you're now seeing different areas. Still it's an Indian community, but it's different cultures. You see how Lodium operates, you see how Azadville operates, and then obviously they check how Lens operates. So that's how we did it. The kids really had a good time. They developed nicely. And at the same time, we played in another league called the GMLFA, which was basically Mayfair. And also enjoyed that league. Very, very competitive. So yeah, we ran the league nicely. Players then were invited to come back to us, or they were given the option to stay at their other clubs. So none of the players were really forced, to play for us. They had the option, and Alhamdulillah, majority of them came back. They played for us in the season. Alhamdulillah, we did well. Kids developed. We won trophies. We played in tournaments, and we managed to sort of solidify our training. Our sort of training that helps kids improve. Because without improvement and without development, then you're never going to see trophies. And Alhamdulillah, last year, it's not the trophies that we look at, but just to show you the development that got there, we won 45 trophies in one season of competitive football, which is something that's not really heard of. But look, we're proud of it. But again, we must stress that it's not winning at all costs. It's development first. But the only way you win is if you develop.
Funny thing about that, I was watching something the other day, and the guy was saying, the coach was telling these youngsters, it was just, I don't know, it was a meme or video or something. He says, if your father tells you it's not all about winning, that means he was a loser.
Yeah. I seen the same book.
It was.
So look, what we're saying is we want to go compete, and if you compete, then internally you feel like you've won, right? And generally, when you compete and you do your best, and you've got the good training behind you, and you've got good coaches that support you, then you find yourself winning games. Which is a good thing. It's a good feeling. But in the same breath, we've lost, right? So I'll give you an example. Last year, four under-7 finals we won in a row, right? So 4 under-7 finals we won in a row. The same tournaments, 4 under-11 finals, we lost all 4. So we've been on both sides. You know what I'm saying? It's part of learning. It's part of life. So we've been in the winning part. We've been in the losing part. But the most important thing is that you must be learning. That's the most important.
No, look, I think from what you're saying, from what I know business-wise, it comes down to practicality of ball or anything in life. So we're putting in the effort.
100%.
If you put in the effort and you work at it, you'll pull the rhythm, you'll pull the know-how of what you need to do. You can't always win. That's part of it. And losing, and when you lose, you take you like it, you assess it, you look at what you did wrong, and then you go for it. 100%. You know what I'm saying? It's the only way you're gonna pull.
Yes.
It's like in business. Failure, you can look at it as failure, you can look at it as a stepping stone.
100%.
If you're willing to learn from it, then it's a stepping stone.
Correct.
If you're gonna take it and should, hey, I lost, now screw it. Or my business didn't work.
Don't spot.
This thing didn't work. Then I'll tell you, you accepted failure and you took it. But if you take it as, you know what, that's why, this didn't work. Why didn't it work?
Yes.
What were the steps? What do we need to do? How do we need to fix it? We'll grow from it. You 100%. Can only grow from it.
And that's happened over the 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah, we've been successful. But also there's been players that have now left us and whatever. And we try our best to figure out why. Mm-hmm. And then once we figure out why, then we try our best to try and fix it. Mm-hmm. And then we try our best from it.
So you guys were talking about how you grew and stuff like that. I was checking through your guys' website and the different things that you guys offer and the different kind of services you guys offer, not just from a player point of view and and coaching and stuff. I came across that section where you guys what was it called, the HS Academy.
Yeah, the agency.
Where you guys actually found out that students were after exams were not coming.
Oh yes,
not coming to ball because it was a point of where they did bad in school. So I talked to you and Tani told him, we taking away your soccer.
Correct.
You love your soccer, but this is your punishment because you need to work on your results.
Correct.
So you guys created a tuition center, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah.
That helped those students achieve their academic goals in line with their training goals as well.
100%.
And I won't lie, when I read that, I think it's something that separates and it shows the dedication that you also have for the craft that you do. Because you read something out of a movie.
Yeah.
In what line? Let me tell you why. If you watch movies like, what was it, Coach Carter? Basketball.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson.
And he didn't let the get onto the team because those scores were not, his academic scores were not there.
Yes.
But that worked. He got his academic scores and then he was on the team and he achieved not just the scholarship, but he went further. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And look, when we were lighties and we grew up and we did these things, first it wasn't even proper training, let's be honest.
No, 100%.
We did it as a social thing.
Exactly.
The level that you're doing it is now a lot more professional, I would say.
Yeah.
In no, HS Academy, well,
Yeah.
just elaborate about
So right, so exactly right. So the first thing that gets taken away when we were young, and even now, the first thing that your time and your Tani is gonna take away is ball. That's the first thing, right? If you are not doing well in school, first thing gets taken away. Listen, you're not going for training anymore, right? So what we did then is we said, okay, listen, let us try and focus on the kids so that they can excel in both, so that they can excel in football, because if they don't come for training, they don't excel, right? And then they must excel academically as well. So it's a lot easier. And the reason we did it also is because it's a lot easier for us to coach kids that are academically inclined than not, because they understand things better. They grasp concepts quicker. So if we can get those types of kids training, it makes your life a lot easier.
I have less play devil's advocate. I may look at it in a different way.
Right.
Children who excel academically are children who are not, who are children who put the work into excel.
Yes.
And that's what you see in your training.
Yes.
It's how I would see.
Yes. Correct.
Whereas if you only focus on one thing and it does uncomfortable things that light is not focusing on.
Correct. 100%.
And it's not, soccer is not the game, right? Or anything you do. Right?
Yeah.
There's always a shit you're gonna do that's gonna be hard.
Yes.
And your stuff becomes easy. And you
Yes.
gotta work through both to find the success
100%.
that you want to.
100%.
So I think that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I'm taking it from your academic point. And if you
Yes.
force even a light who's not excelling, or the kid that's not excelling in academics, for
Yeah.
example, by creating that academy, you're pushing him to push in that.
Correct.
So he can benefit from
100%.
something that he loves. But you giving him that perspective of,
Yeah.
you know what, it's not always going to be easy.
Yes.
You got to push certain things you're going to do in life.
100%.
It's a life lesson.
No,
certain things you're going to do in life.
100%. But you see, that is what, as Holas Coco, that's what we try to do, is we try to teach more than football. We try to teach life lessons. So we're trying to say, okay, listen, and it comes again from an academic point of view, where I myself, I'm a QS by profession, right? Studied adverts, all of those things, right? And now I'm looking at it like this and I'm saying, listen, if I had to put all my hopes and dreams in football and I didn't study something, then it wasn't in my taqdeer to be a football player. Now where am I? You know what I'm saying? But I went, I did the hard work, I studied, I did what I needed to do, I got a degree, I worked hard. Now we're following the passion. You see what I'm saying? So, but you had to have set up some sort of base. Now, if this child just puts everything into football and doesn't set up the base academically, then he's got nothing to fall back on. So that's also where we were coming from, to say, listen, let us help you in your studies. And we take you in a point where we say, listen, get good results, get good marks. So firstly, your football doesn't get taken away. Secondly, you got more options. So say maybe later on, you don't want to become a footballer. Now you can maybe do something in sports management, but now your results are good enough to get you into sports management. Or you want to become a QS or an engineer or whatever. Now your results are good enough. Whereas if you didn't do that, now you put every hopes and dreams on ball. You got an injury. Yeah, finish. You see what I'm saying? So it's about life, trying to get these lighties ready for life, whether it's from a football point of view, academic point of view, social point of view. It's trying to get them ready for life, and that is what we are essentially trying to do.
So you look, I know you from campus days and stuff. Right? We both started off with campus together. Yeah. Look, you went the path of actually finishing your degree. You went your path of actually finishing your degree, unlike me, who did some crazy things in between. But never mind. You know what I'm saying? But you tell me about it, because you started. You buy, play. Ball, I know you from campus, so I know ball was always a passion of yours. Yeah. But you fight to campus, you graduate degree, you expand in an industry of your field of work.
Yes.
And then eventually, at some point, you decided, okay, this is, I'm done with this. I'm going to there.
Yes.
Walking through it.
Right. So
because why
very challenging.
Why we are taking this is ball was your love, it was your passion.
Yes.
But you took, I would say, a realistic approach towards
100%.
But maybe that's also how we were brought up. That you need a degree.
Correct. So that's
that may have played a part in
big role
in your decision making, and maybe that's why you didn't start this earlier and you only started it at a later point in your life. But nonetheless, it played a role in grooming you, even in the industry, even in the business that you have today. That experience has played a role in what you did today.
100%. So
share it.
Right. So I studied. Okay. So firstly, I studied at Wits. I studied engineering 2 years, and then I did QS for 4 years. Got the degree, got the honors, and then at the same time, I was still playing football. So I was playing for a club back in Lens called Bellevue, one of the very, very old clubs, very experienced clubs, and we were playing in quite a high level of football. And then played there, played for another club called Crescent. So at the time, I was still trying to, get through the pro sort of route. But again, for whatever reason, it didn't work. Sometimes it's not in your takdir, it's not in your takdir. That's how it works, right? Then I started working at a company called Crane Group Consulting as a QS. So I did now back work with them, and then I started working for them full time at the same time running the academy. At that point in time, we weren't that many. 2017, like I said, we were about maybe 60.
So you doing both. So the academy was running.
The academy was running while I was working, so I was doing both, right? So let me tell you my day at that time. It was waking up at 5, getting to work at 6:30, 7, a full day of QS work. So on site, doing valuations, PPSs. It was insane. Leave at 4 o'clock, get home at about 5, 5:30. Have a quick supper with my wife, right? And I must thank her as well, because without her support, I would have never been here. I can tell you that now. She sacrificed a hell of a lot. She sacrificed a hell of a lot for me to be here. But she also understood the goal, and she understood the dream that we were trying to chase. And so basically get home 5:30, eat quickly. 6:30 is when the session starts. I'm on the ground. At that time, I couldn't afford to employ coaches. So it was about 3 of us. The 2 I could afford to pay, and it was myself. At that time, I was running all the divisions. So I had my assistants with me, and I was coaching under 6 right up until the SAB, or we didn't have an SAB team, but a senior team at that time.
Senior, also you wait till age 25 or something.
So 25 is your big boys.
Later to 14.
Yeah, it's your big boys. So your big boys is like your SAB team and your first team. So you want to give them a chance as well. So, so that was my day basically for about 8 years. 8 years, my day went like that every day. As we started growing, I employed a coach. So our model runs about 15 to 20 players, one coach. You get more than that, we start getting another coach, etc. So that's how we worked it. Alhamdulillah, at this point in time, we've got 30 coaches employed. But yeah, it wasn't an easy route. But again, I think my opinion on this is the QS helped me set up the business, because I seen what a professional business is run like. I seen how you need to be professional. You need to be professional in order to run this. You must have your website running. You must have a certain work ethic. You must have a certain demeanor with the parents. You must be able to be talking to them in a certain way, using different words. Those types of things. And I think the QSing part actually helped me in that regard. And I always tell my ex-boss, I always tell him, listen, you actually helped me a hell of a lot. Even though QS and football is completely different, but the principles of business remain the same.
Fundamental. So the podcast that we do, this whole journey of it is sharing those businesses, because everybody has their own way of doing business. But there's certain fundamentals that don't change.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
A lot of people nowadays tell you don't need to work hard in all those things. Yeah. I have a different approach. Yeah. And for me, it's hard work first, smart work comes later. That's just my 100%. Opinion. Right?
Look, that's a very, very good point.
That's my 100%. Opinion. Some will disagree with me, some will agree with me. Yeah, there is a place for smart work. Yeah. There is a place for, but I think when you do the hard work first, you understand what it takes to grow.
Correct. Then you can start being smart afterwards.
Then you start being smart. It's like you started coaching yourself.
Yes.
You knew what it is as a coach to be a coach. You do that line of work.
Yes.
You know what it was to have a job. You didn't still come coach afterwards.
Difficult. 100%. Right? Yeah.
So you even, I think then in your selection of coaches afterwards, you selected them based on someone who shared the same value chain as you.
Yes, 100%.
If they weren't aligned or whatever it is, and I think that maybe felt, I don't know, but I would assume it also filters down into the players that you recruit into your clubs and into the 100%. Academy.
Work ethic, 100%.
Because like you say, you went through the business, right? You went through your whole QS career and you worked as a QS. In the company you worked for and stuff like that. When you were there, right? It wasn't a professional person.
No.
Yeah? No. It was what you studied, you did it, you went through it, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? But when you were there, the work output that you gave, was it at your best level? Of what you were, of because you were there, or did you just say, I just got to go to this, so I'm doing it?
Yeah. So let me give you the answer.
You see why I'm playing into this is a lot of us, or a lot of people,
Yeah.
whether it's business
Yeah.
or life, whatever it is,
Yeah.
sometimes you're in a situation where you don't want to be there, but you have to
You
go
have to
to.
be there. It's
And
necessary.
in the moral, in what we're trying to highlight is whether you here or whether you where you want to be or you're not, you still got. If you choose to do that,
Yeah.
you got to give it your best.
Yes, 100%.
Because if you don't give it your best, that other road is not going to open.
Correct, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm 100% with you.
It's the hard work that you put
Yeah.
in those places that somehow, some way,
Yeah.
opens up a road,
Yes.
that allows you to go into something
Yeah.
else, or something that you feel that makes you, that's in an industry or a niche that you like. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes. So one thing I can tell you, right? There's definitely no shortcuts. Okay, and I agree with you completely in saying that you have to put in the hard work. You have to, right? And that's one thing that we believe in. Is that you work hard, and when you work hard, alhamdulillah, luck comes. Right. So the harder you work, the more luckier you get, and also then you can start being smart about things. To come back, about the thing where you were talking about, was the work basically slacking in my QS because I was focusing a lot on
It's not about
football.
it's not about focusing.
No, but I'll
on
tell
football.
you, that's
It's
one
about,
of the reasons where I decided now I need to change.
it's about having, it's about you have a passion for something.
Yeah.
Yes. And you want to be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everybody's life situation is different.
Different, 100%.
Certain
100%.
O's are born with
Are lucky
opportunity.
enough, correct, 100%.
Some O's have to work for
Work for it,
opportunity.
correct.
And if you look,
correct.
and I give you right, I'm always smart to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Before even starting my own one.
Yes.
And it's smart is motivational videos. I don't know
Yes,
if you
yes.
ever
No,
came
I love it.
I love it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
when I get up in the morning, I write to span. As Muslims, we read Quran, whatever. As Muslims, we read our Quran in it, and then you start your day, and then that was my
Yes.
life thing.
Yeah.
It kept me going because
Right.
some of the work that I do, so it's just tiring, and it's just
Yeah.
it's not the greatest of work, but it has to be done.
Yeah,
So
it has to be done.
that's how I found a way to get.
Right.
The point is, you sometimes you're in a situation where you just have to work through that.
Yes. Get through it.
To open that
Yes.
opportunity that
100%.
comes afterwards.
100%. So that's exactly what is
Yeah,
happening.
what I'm saying is from
Yeah.
your point of the focus. It's
Yeah.
not that you want focus, but
Yeah.
it was where you were.
Yes.
And you knew that, or what I get from what you're saying is, you knew that I have to do this now.
Yeah.
So I'm going
To
to
get
do
where I
this.
need to get.
And when I get to the point where I see I can go into
Yeah.
what I really want to do, then I will do
Yes.
that. But right now, this is what
I need to 100%. So you see, at the time, right, for the first, like, say, 6 years of being a QS, there was almost 98% focus on QS, right? Because the academy wasn't that big, right? When we got to last year, 2023, at the beginning of the year, I could already see myself struggling in terms of time because already by last year we had almost 300 players. So then I could see myself busy working out a training schedule while I'm doing evaluation at the office. And now I'm trying to split myself between the two. And that becomes a hell of a challenge. So what I do is I set myself goals. So I say, okay, listen, when I started Ola Skoko, I was, 25, 26. I said by 30, I want to see, inshallah, by 30 where I am. Because at the end of the day, once you start something, you want to see, listen, I want to do this thing full time. That's the whole plan, right? But there's different requirements. So you have to see, okay, listen, firstly, is he bringing enough income for me to do it full time? That's the first thing. The second thing is, what's the risk that lies with it? If COVID comes, now you shut down. Now what do? You see what I'm saying? So it was a bit of risk management, whatever. And then I looked at it last year. I said, okay, listen, it's getting to a point now where I can start doing this thing full time. But I don't want to take the risk yet. Right? So already in February, I said, okay, Sharp, I'm going to wait until November. November last year, we went to Spain. So I said, okay, perfect. I'm not going to ask my boss for 2 weeks Spain leave. He's going to tell me, listen, take your things and buy. So I said, listen, I'll play it out where I get to November. And I already told you in the start of the year that I have to go. So the plan was by November, October, I check my resignation. I said, listen, here's the resignation. And then November and December, I was only planning to come back like in the second week of December anyway. So in construction, the second week of December, you close. So literally I was going to see the company only in January. No company in the world was going to allow that. Right? So I told myself mentally, I said, listen, okay, let me work up until October, November. Then I resign and we call it a day. In Feb, coincidentally, it was a day after my birthday. So what's funny is we're having this podcast today. This is actually the anniversary day today of when I went to my boss and I told him, listen, I'm done.
So your plan was to?
My plan was to carry on. Only in October.
Year, right?
Only in October. That was the plan. So I never had any backup. I had no backup.
Okay, so
Nothing.
So
Right? I just
What prompted you to do it in February when you had a plan of
I was
December?
just too tired. So when I was getting to work every day, it started becoming a point where I was like, listen, this thing is draining the life out of me. Before I could handle it. Before I was like, listen, okay, QS, look, it's not a horrible job, right? But it's a very demanding job in terms of mind because it's numbers the whole day. So very demanding, right? And then I just got to a point where it was an incident that happened on my birthday, where like my wife ended up meeting up in a small accident, and then I had to drive all the way from work back to go and see that she was okay. The car was damaged, whatever. And then when I came back, I got into trouble. So then the boss ended up saying, "Listen, why are you going so many times?" And then he started questioning my focus on, listen, I know you're running the academy, because I told him, I said, look, I was completely upfront with him. I said, listen, I run a football academy and I do QS. If there's a point where you can see that I'm slacking in the work, you tell me. And that was the day he told me. He said, listen, I can see now that your focus is now starting to shift. And I could feel it. Right? So then I went home that night. I made my sweater off my throat. I said, listen, no. And I said, November, I'm done. I said, November, I'm done. That is when we made the decision for November. Knowing me, different story. I woke up the next morning. I didn't even write a letter of resignation. I just went into his office and I said, I'm done. I'm done. No backup. I didn't have any contract signed with the schools. I had nothing. Right? Luckily, at the time, the company I was working for, they didn't have another QS on the project I was working on. So they kept me on the project. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really helped, obviously, right? Up until October is when that project ended. So it just sort of worked out. It just worked out. But again, it was a leap of faith.
So you were still working a full-time job till last year. What 300 students in training? If you build the academy of 300 students, what a full-time job. And then, okay, we're still going to touch on your international project that you took on afterwards. So
that's exactly.
And you were still handling those things.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the projects I was running were not small.
What was your day?
No, exactly. That's why I'm saying I thank my fro so much. Because without her, I would have never been able to do this. And she must know I had a lighty. And last year, alhamdulillah, I had another baby. So it was hectic. I mean, my son, when he was born, I was hardly at home because I was at the house. And then you must know, if you don't have enough coaches, I'm there Monday to Sunday. It's not a Monday to Friday, normal QS job, you're done. Saturday, Sunday, you chill. Football, you play your games on weekends. And if I'm not there, and the type of O that I am is, again, we do things properly, right? So if I go into something, I do properly. I don't go half.
So I took 1, 2 references on you before I knows it over Tassikin business.
Yeah.
And all those I spoke to, they told me that, look, Nish built his business and his thing because he has the mindset of, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I finish this stuff and then I move on.
Sure, 100%. That is exactly how we've done.
Right? And it plays into the point where you and your boss realize that, you know what, my focus is now deviating a little bit.
Yes.
So I need to choose. I need to choose my path now.
100%.
And this is where I'm making my decision. And look, it's not an easy decision to make, I assume.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you have family.
Yes.
At your point when you did, you have family.
Yes. And a child. And right? Not easy.
But do you think that no plan B is what pushed you even further, or was it already in place for you to just carry on?
No. So at the time when I resigned, I had to make a couple of big phone calls. Right? Couple of big phone calls because alhamdulillah, the academy supports, right? But it doesn't come in all at once. That's the challenge. You'll get an opening this tomorrow, another opening next week, another opening after the deadline. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. So what I had to do is I had to go and secure either a school or some sort of contract that I know, okay, at the end of the month, I'm getting paid so that my debit orders, we can deal with them. So we can deal with our debit orders and then the food we'll deal with later. That is how I thought about it, right? And then, alhamdulillah, HMA gave us a contract to coach here. And we managed to do that from May, June last year. So again, from like April end, I was still earning from my previous company. But it wasn't easy. I had to cut on certain things and, I had to make a plan to get through. But also, again, throughout the years, another thing is we had to save. I had to save. So if I'm going to give advice to young entrepreneurs that want to follow their passion, which there's nothing wrong with, save, right? So try and have at least 3 months of your debit orders at least there, so that if you earn 0 in 3 months, you still cover. So that is my try that, and then from there try and secure something where monthly you're getting it, and then your extra income can then come from the actual thing that you're doing, because it's very volatile. Football is very volatile. One month you've got, example, 100 players. The next month you got 50. So very, very difficult to plan from a cash flow point of view. So it was a leap of faith, like I'm saying, but alhamdulillah, we managed to set up the base in such a way where we more or less knew it was a decent decision to make. It wasn't a decision that I wanted to make so quickly, but I think all of the stress and all of the pressure and me again not being able to focus, and the type of that I am is I like to hone in or zone in and make sure I know what's going on certain things and do it properly. And I could see that it's starting to fall. And then I said, listen, QS is going to have to fall now. And then I focused full time on football.
You touched on the point when you finished school and then you decided, okay, you're going to go to QS and you started, right? But you, like you say, you always had a passion for soccer.
Yeah. Well, you know me. You see me with the ball all the time.
You had a passion for it.
Yeah.
Your dream or your vision was never QS, I would assume.
No.
Your dream was always going pro.
Correct. Right? That was the initial dream, 100%.
The point I'm trying to make here is we grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
The opportunities that our lighties were given and the thing that our lighties get to do now were very different.
Yes,
what we
100%.
got to do. Even if, like you say, even the soccer training that we did was nowhere near the level of what you're achieving now.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe in general, the level that's got up. Things are going more professional.
Yes.
About this. And maybe in other communities it was different.
Yes.
Whereas with us as Indians, the community was very different.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could have went pro if you decided to go from that point, chase my soccer dream? Or did you evaluate that? Look, I know what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Am I or am I not?
Yeah. So very, very difficult for me to answer that. I'll tell you why, right? Okay, so I would have loved to be pro. I was playing at Swallows, I was playing at Wits, I played at Chiefs. So my dream was to become a pro. I felt like I had the talent. I felt like I didn't have enough, number one, motivation. I felt, right? And when I say motivation, and I keep telling the kids this, is that, yes, saying I want to be a pro footballer and doing everything in your power to be a pro footballer is two different things.
Yeah,
so now, are you eating properly? Do you have a strength and conditioning coach? Do you have a dietitian? Do you have, are you training 5 times a week? Do you have a rest day? Are you taking ice baths? Just those examples. I can tell you, I did none of those. Right? I was training all the time and playing all the time, and no one seen me playing.
Random question. Are you a fan of the ice bath?
Not really. Not really. I tried it a few times. So at Swallows, it was like a requirement after training. But what they did is, your buns, pick it up buns, water and ice. I hated it. But it benefits.
I'm a fan of
I
it.
can't.
It feels...
My pool at home is like that. It's freezing.
Yeah. When you get into it. But look,
it's a mind thing.
I adopted the cold shower, So at the end of your shower, you eat cold water.
Okay.
And I feel it starts.
No, look, it refreshes.
Especially in heat ladders.
No, 100%.
I feel I don't get as fatigued as you would.
Yes. Look, it should wake you up. It's freezing cold.
Yeah, but it's generally it's about how it
regenerates the body.
The brown fat.
Yes.
Activated when you do these things.
Yes.
They tend to be a more longer. Lasting. It's like
it holds your
dopamine and stuff like
correct,
that. It holds. It's not like taking cocaine.
And then you're high and then you drop it. Correct.
It's more. It's a high spike, but it's a moderate wearing off of it. So it carries you through the day. And like in heat ladders, like you find a lot less fatigue.
Yes, you're right.
Especially if you're outside as you as a trainer.
Yeah. And nowadays it's like this last two weeks has been insane.
Try the cold shower thing.
Yeah, look, I don't know, but I'll try. No, the cold shower I'll still try. I'm not gonna go jump in the ice bath now.
We deviated, but let's get back on.
So again, saying I want to be a pro footballer and doing what you need to do to become a pro footballer, two different things. And I felt like I didn't have a good guide. So I didn't have someone behind me saying, listen, I think you should do this. Maybe go and get a dietitian. So even though my father was a good coach, you see at that time again, 15 years ago, you wouldn't think as football as a pro or a career like how we're thinking about it now, right? Opportunities were scarce. Quality training was difficult, so all of those things played a major part. But I think if we were living in a different era and time like now, I think the opportunities, and I'm not only speaking about me, right? In my generation, there were hell of a good footballers. I promise you, like Ridi Majum that's coaching with us now, brilliant footballer. Right, Razim Khan, excellent. Shoaib Nana, brilliant footballers.
Was it the other two hours? Oh, Raja and Pochi.
Raja, exactly. Raja and Pochi, hell of a good footballers, right? Correct. Pretty boys, naughty boys. I mean, brilliant footballers.
Those was good.
Brilliant. Correct. Brilliant footballers, right? So now imagine opportunities will open up for them. So that is why what we've now done is, and we'll come to that, is the international part of it and also creating the football agency part.
The thing you touched on,
Yeah,
is the right hand.
yeah, very important.
Right hand
Hell of important.
is something, especially I think in Indian communities, we don't highlight.
Yes, 100%.
We don't condition our children to find the right people, or find the right mentor, or even as a parent.
Yeah.
You gotta be that mentor, especially in today's times.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And you must know that
they need guidance.
You got children now.
Yeah.
When they need the guidance more now than it was before.
Correct.
No, we did. We said the things. Some of the things we heard today from what we did. Like
you get shocked.
We were like, no. You know what I'm saying? Or if you did it on a quiet.
Yes.
One of those things.
Exactly.
But the point is, a mentor. Mentor is important.
Yeah.
Whether it's
100%.
business, whether it's ball, whether it's life.
Yes. Very important.
Find somebody who has the right mindset.
Yeah.
And who can guide you.
Yes.
And what you gotta understand about a mentor is it's not somebody's gonna give you the answers.
Yes.
They're just gonna guide you.
Yes.
You're gonna come with a problem, he's gonna advise you, or he's gonna talk you through it, and you will figure it out.
You need to find a solution. 100%.
Whether you make the mistake, watch it, or you don't, the whole point is the guidance of a mentor is not there to give you answers.
100%.
A mentor is just there to help you evaluate and guide it.
100%. So that's exactly why.
So basically, like you said, but like you said, if you had the right mentor, or even our parents, look, you can't. I'm not saying the top or
they did the best with what they could.
Didn't do that job.
Yeah.
But obviously, the way they grew up, the way things were at the time were very different.
Yes,
like
correct.
Even
there was a bigger focus on education. That's what it was.
Education is important.
Yeah.
You can't discount it even in today's time.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is they had a different vision. Or they seen things in a different way.
Yes.
Because of where they came from.
Yes, correct.
We were given a different opportunity.
Yeah.
So we can choose to see it about different and understand it about different.
Yes.
So like even all our parents, they did what they could for to the best that they could. And when you're life, maybe you fight and you tonight,
100%.
Now we just say when you look at it,
now that you have kids, now you start to see. Yeah.
They did to get you to try and give you the best.
Yeah.
And it was the best way they understood.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. In today's time now, it's your parent, your coach.
Yeah.
And as a coach, a lot of those children who come to your club probably look up.
Yeah.
Or share stories with you.
Yes.
Sometimes they won't even tell their parents because
100%.
It's just how it is.
100%.
In school, there was always that teacher you talk to.
Yes, correct.
There was always that uncle you would talk to. Or, that you would share stories because you knew they would.
Now we've become those people.
You are now those people.
Yeah.
And you have the understanding of the generation is different.
Yes.
So but be the right.
Yes.
And is that part of the ethos of your club?
100%. So
your Lighty is good as a player, but doesn't have the other things.
Yeah.
Does he qualify to be part of the team or not?
So that's why we make sure we look at the 4 fundamental factors of performance. So technical and tactical is generally what you look at, which is playing, passing. Technical is passing, dribbling, whatever. And then tactical is understanding the game, positioning. But people forget, physical is another one where it's fitness, you're running, you're strong, those types of things, right? One that a lot of people forget, and I feel like the Indian community forgets a lot, is the psychological part. So a simple thing I'll give you is, the first thing, and this is not only in the Houghton Academy, it's in the Lens Academy, it's all over. The first thing that every player must do is they must come in and must make salam. First. Right, so that's the rule of the academy, is that the first thing that you must come and do is you must come and make salam. The psychological part, hell important, because what you want to do is, before coaching footballers, you want to coach people, right? So you want to make sure that this child, whether he turns pro or not, he's still a good child. So he's still a boy that comes there, makes salam, greets, is social, can talk. If you ask him a question, he's engaged. He's got respect. He's not arrogant. So like some of the boys that go to Spain and Italy, they come back like, oh no, now they've made it. So immediately when they come back, we sit them down and say, listen, bhai, you didn't make anything. Alright, you need to be humble. You are still learning. You haven't got a pro contract. You're not earning any money. Nothing. You need to still learn to get to that point. And even when you get to that point and you earn, you still have to be humble. So very important is the psyche and the mentality of a footballer. So it's hell of important.
But soccer is also a team sport.
Yeah.
You can be the greatest player, you can dribble a
Yeah.
ball, but you can't outsmart a whole team.
Yes.
It's just
100%. Impossible.
my take on it.
Impossible.
Right? So
and I'll tell you
gotta-
our philosophy around
you
it.
got to build a team
Yeah.
effort and a team spirit.
Yes.
In another movie reference, I can't remember what was the movie called.
Mighty Ducks.
No, man. There's a soccer movie, man.
Uh,
It okay, man. He plays for Real Madrid in the end, man.
yeah. That's so
I can't remember what was the
Goal, man. The movie was called Goal. Goal, yeah.
And in one part, he's not passing a ball
Yeah.
when they're doing
and
the
they
training.
kick and they just kick it and
then
it says go and run. Yeah.
the coach
Yes.
takes the ball, calls him, takes
Yeah.
the ball, and he kicks the ball and tells him you must get to the palace before the ball
Yeah,
can get there.
exactly.
And he doesn't make it. And he explains to him, you can't outrun the ball, but if you pass the ball, you get it. You get to the goal.
100%.
So soccer is a team sport.
100%.
And how do you build
So that is
team?
one of
And
our
that building team, especially if you teach it in
Yeah.
youngsters
Yeah.
today,
throughout life.
it's something they learn to do, because even when you go into whether you choose the professional
Yeah.
career path,
You're gonna
or
have to deal with
footballer,
other guys.
or whether you go into corporate or
Yes.
any industry, you always have to work with people.
Well, 100%.
And if you learn this at a young age on the field,
Yeah.
in a more less stressed environment,
Yes. No,
it
it
teaches
values
you the
that
right
you take wrong.
fundamentals around.
100%. 100%. So that's again one of the philosophies. We're not a club where we want one player to dribble everyone in school. I'm very hard on it. So yes, we've got players that can do it, but we choose to pass. And why? Because a pass creates trust. If you pass to me, immediately you trust me. If I pass to him, immediately I trust him. If he passes there, he trusts me. So it becomes a chain of trust. And that is how football must work. You understand? Now you go anywhere in the world. I haven't seen you before in my life. Say you were Spanish.
Yeah.
Now I pass you the ball. I'm trusting you the ball. Now we become friends. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, some of the ladies that went to Spain made friends with guys from England. And they would have never had their chance. You understand? So it's 100% right. Teamwork and trust and getting them to work together. Because again, now say you get into the corporate world, like you say, you got a QS, a PM, a engineer, a structural engineer, mechanical engineer. We have to work together in order to get this project right.
Yeah.
I can't go do it myself, right? I don't have the expertise of engineering, so I need to work with everyone to get it right. And this is where it starts.
You can't be building a business also.
Yeah.
One person doesn't build it.
Yeah.
It takes a team of people.
100%.
You can be the brains behind it. Yes,
Yeah.
you can have
But
the
you need
greatest
guys to
idea,
help you.
but you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah.
There's a team of people that carry you. And okay, look, in your line of work, it's not something I'm going to highlight too much, but the guys that listen to our podcast will know.
Yeah.
We always highlight, the importance of staff, paying your staff well,
Yes.
and giving them a little bit extra and see
Yes.
how they respond to it.
Yes.
It defines whether you have a brilliant workforce or
Yes.
just an average workforce.
Yeah.
But it comes up, but if you, like you say, in your academy, if you train us to work as a team,
Yes.
they condition to be part of a exceptional workforce.
Correct.
Even if they choose to go into a corporate lifestyle afterwards. Because how many O's make it, bro?
No, it's a
handful
very,
of
very
you.
small percentage.
So
Very, very
you
small
got to
percentage.
condition him as a club. I feel, and this is why I wanted to sit down with you.
Yeah.
In our previous conversations, you're a club that has built the idea of it's a team. It's hard work, like you say. When you come in, greet.
Yeah.
So you don't greet, you don't play.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the reason is it humbles you when you walk in there and you greet, because you're not the best player.
Yeah.
Or even if you are the best
Yeah.
player,
Still, you must be humble.
you sharing that respect with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Some always have skill. Some always have to work harder at the skill.
Yeah.
You can learn anything. Personally, I believe you can learn anything if you put enough time in hours.
And effort.
Some always are more natural to naturally inclined to certain things, and others also are not. But you can work around
You
it.
can learn. 100%.
And like you said in the beginning, also, if you're not going to make it pro, there's always other avenues you can take to still be in an industry that you're passionate about. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether you go into coaching or whether you go into I don't know, sports admin or whatever it is for them.
Yeah.
You know, there are those avenues. But it comes also from not just playing ball. You
Yeah.
gotta have academics, you gotta have all those things to
100%.
condition together.
And that's how it all works together, correct?
And then you guys now well, started this international
Yeah.
club. Why not go local? Why not build in the
Yeah.
local clubs?
Yeah.
I would assume
Yeah.
if somebody is not familiar with this whole industry and how it works,
Yeah.
local is where you would choose to start because it just seems like a simple, it seems like a simpler thing to do
100%.
than to go to find those internationally
Hell of a
who are willing to
Correct.
this thing. But you went the international route instead of a local route from what I can see, from what we spoke about.
Yeah.
What drove you to go that route
Yeah.
and how did you network in that route?
Yeah.
Or how did you network that route together?
So firstly,
it's
the
not-
local route
I
has
mean,
been a
you
challenge.
from what I can see, you did Spain, you do
Spain,
Netherlands,
Italy, yeah, Netherlands this year,
Italy.
Dubai,
Now you're
Morocco.
in Dubai and you're in Morocco,
Yeah.
right? But on your website, I just picked up on the Spain.
Yeah, Spain and Italy is the two
in
countries.
following
we're
your
in.
guys' Instagram page,
Yeah.
is that Moroccan Surf League or something?
Yeah, Moroccan Surf Cup. Yeah, that's
Surf
what we're
Cup or
busy with
something
now. Yeah.
that you guys now are
Correct.
in.
Correct.
I believe some of the lighties that went in the last round that you guys went to Spain or
Correct.
somewhere were
I know.
actually recruited into the
That's correct.
into the surf club and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Why is that route and not local?
So,
and
yeah.
how did you network to build that internationals?
So, firstly, the local route, not to say we didn't try. We did try, right? So, we sent players to Highlands Park. There was a guy playing in part of the DDC team that came from us. He was sitting there. Opportunity becomes, there's a lack of opportunity. So again, it's a mindset thing. So some of our kids are not strong enough to end up sitting on the bench and then waiting to get their chance. Some of them don't get the chance, right? There's a lot of politics in South Africa when it comes to your big teams and even your small teams. I mean, even ABC Matsepe and NFD teams have a lot of politics. So sometimes it becomes a bit of a challenge to go the South African route.
Look, I don't know much about local soccer.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I don't think it is a very diverse sport.
It's not. You don't.
Like if you look at the
one
teams and you
Indian
look at the
boy
players, it's an odd Indian O,
Yeah.
there's an odd white O,
Yeah,
colored O.
correct,
yeah.
100%.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you see, that's what I'm saying. It
But-
becomes so
but that's-
challenging to get
But
in.
that's what I'm saying. Why? Whereas if you take rugby, for example,
Yeah.
how Indian O's are not rugby
Yeah.
players who
Yeah.
scrap them out of the
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there's a lot of diversity.
Diversity,
Even in
100%.
cricket, you see
Yeah, you
diversity
see,
in cricket.
100%.
But I've
Look, but
noticed
for all the
soccer
years,
industry, why?
I don't know. I think it's a thing of. The Indian specific mentality is not strong enough. The ability is there. The lighties are good. They can play. I've seen many players. Boys are good. They can play technically they're good. Physically they're strong. Mentally they struggle. So as soon as the lighties on the bench, not playing enough football, problem. Immediately he wants to give up, he wants to go. And I think that is where we've sort of left. But also again, for him to get to that position, very difficult. For him to be up playing at the and that's also why we haven't seen Indian boys prolong a career. We haven't seen an Indian player more than 2 years playing football. You know what I'm saying? So and then also I believe it's an agent thing. I don't think they had a good enough agent that was working with them, So
It plays back to growing up in South Africa,
Yeah.
in the Indian community. It was very different.
yeah,
Whereas if you took those in cricket,
yeah.
they were conditioned from age 3,
Correct,
5.
100%.
They were already being conditioned. They went to schools, they conditioned them
Yes.
for cricket.
Yes.
Our communities were very different at that time.
I was just
I'm
thinking
not
about
saying it's not like
Yeah.
because of how our parents were
Yeah.
brought up.
Yeah.
The life challenges they had to go through
Yeah.
obviously didn't play into those aspects of
Yeah.
of goal. The academics was more they built and that's how they condition us to go.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can understand in our generation maybe there was a lot very much more even though the talent was there, we didn't have the right conditioning
Yes.
from the right ages. There's very few O's that went through the conditioning.
100%. 100%.
Today it's different.
Yeah.
The opportunity is a lot better
There's
now
more
than it was
opportunities. Yeah.
then.
Correct.
But I think in our time the conditioning was just like you say, the conditioning was not there.
Yeah.
Even for you, you didn't
Yeah,
you
yeah, 100%.
needed a dietitian, you didn't have all
100%.
those things. It was just the opportunities that we had.
100%.
But you still found a way to follow your passion in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today, you
100%.
conditioning like this
That's
to-
what we
to
try,
get to
exactly.
it.
100. So I said, in terms of the gear, I didn't make it, but I'm trying now to get someone to, to try and make it or give the opportunity to them.
But in your network, rational.
Yeah. So,
Why
right.
not
So
over?
again, what we're trying to do is, so we found that in South Africa, it's been a challenge for us to get to. Like we've sent players to different places here in SA, and it's been a hell of a challenge for whatever reasons. So what we did then is we started looking international. So when we went to Italy, we went with a different organization, and when we got
But
there,
was there a local organization that were taking kids already international?
correct.
And that's
They
how
were
you-
they
you
were
coordinated, you went
yes,
with
so we went with them. Yeah, so we partnered up with them. We went with them, but we weren't very happy with their service. That's how I won't really mention their names. We weren't happy with their service at all. So I paid my school fees there because I was part of the guys that went with, and then each player paid their fees or whatever it was. But the service that we got wasn't great. The only reason, and I'll tell you straight, the only reason why it was lekker is because I did all the work behind the scenes for them, and I didn't work for them. So what we then did is I made contacts on that side. So I spoke to a guy by the name of Paolo Gatti, who's the AC Milan technical coordinator, and he runs the AC Milan Junior Academy. And I made contact with him, and I sat him down one day. We had a coffee while we were in Italy, and I said, "Listen, this is my vision for Las Coco. This is what we want to do. We came here with these guys, but we're not really happy, whatever it is." And he told me, "Listen, we would love to have you guys here. And let me give you a couple of contexts where, I can see that you guys are a club with vision, whatever it is. And let me give you some context." And then he ended up giving me context for Spain, context for like Italy. And then when I spoke to the guys in Spain, then we got a contact for Brazil. Then we got a contact for Portugal. So that's basically how it ended up working. In that we started networking like that. But those guys don't just take anyone. They check your website, they check your Instagram pages, they see what you've done, they see how many players you have. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also a thing of reputation for them. So they look at all of those things. We had numerous meetings with them. This is now the guys in Spain, and alhamdulillah, they approved what we wanted to do, and that's how we went.
So to touch on that, right?
Yeah.
You guys vet you before you go.
Yeah.
They vet you. How do they vet? Did they look at you? Obviously, first they see you, so they know who you are,
Yes,
right?
correct.
But obviously, they need to vet your academy.
Yes.
They're not going to fly here to South Africa to come see you.
No.
So
100%.
how do they vet you? The reason I'm touching on this is my feeling is the social media played a role in their vetting. Yeah, so and why? So social media played a role.
Yeah.
And one of the things we do in the podcast is highlight social media.
Right.
And having the right marketing
Social
around
presence. Yeah.
social presence.
Yes.
In all of that.
Yes.
Social media played a role in you getting into it.
Yes.
I just want to highlight it. So
Big part.
the
So
social media is one of the key factors that vetted your club for you.
I'll tell you one of the big reasons why we've grown alhamdulillah is social media. So I don't do like the old school. Well, maybe we might do it this year to get a few players. But
Did you do social media yourself initially? I'm assuming you did it yourself.
I do it myself till now.
Till now.
Till now.
You haven't.
We haven't got a social media content person yet, but I'm trying to see. Just the prices are everywhere.
Yeah,
but expensive.
But that's now.
Yeah.
While we on this, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we deviating here, but
Yeah.
that's what while we are on the road of social media. You see, what I've learned over those I've spoken to, a lot of those are not even on the podcast, but I had the opportunity to speak to them and stuff like that. They were more. They didn't want to share their journey. They shared it with me, but that's not something they felt they want to share.
Right.
But I've learned something from these also. What they've taught me is your time is more important than thinking. It's one of the, I would say it's not maybe one, but it's one of the most important factors you have in life. So you mustn't work for that. How do I put this? Your money must buy you time.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is, social media is a key part of your business. You did it because you had to do it in the beginning. You learned it, whatever it is, and you grew it. And alhamdulillah, you did it the right way, so it vetted you.
Yes.
When it came to vetting you, it played an important role in building your international context and your international network, right? But sometimes what we tend to forget at this level, maybe where you are now, is the paying that to do the social media for you.
Yeah.
compared to the time it was saved.
Yes.
You got to offset the value of
Yes.
it. So even if you got to pay that out, for example,
Yeah.
5 grand a month to do your social media,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it takes off
Saving you time. You're buying
so
yourself
many
time.
hours of the
100%.
time.
Yeah.
Is your time worth less than the 5 hours or more than the 5 hours?
Yeah.
If your time is worth more than your 5 hours,
Yeah.
pay that
Pay the over
5 grand,
5K. Yeah.
because you can gain more
Yes.
in the long run out of it
Yes. 100%.
than sitting here and trying to figure out now. You putting your time into this, you're losing money. Whereas, you know,
Yeah.
a lot
I
of,
get you.
a lot of those in business don't see that.
Yes.
Now, in the beginning, you have to do it.
Yeah.
But it comes a point where you get it in a sense that, you know what, my time is worth so much. That's how does this. He takes so much time away from me.
Yeah.
Like even your coaching, okay, maybe your time constraint was around coaching. You could only coach a certain amount because you had to hire
new coaches. Correct.
There was a different time aspect.
Yeah.
Of how you have to do things. That's it now from is you grow your business.
Yeah.
You need to value the value of what the show can bring to you. Is it worth your time?
Yeah.
If it's not, then you carry on doing it yourself. If it is, pay it out because it buys you more time to expand into maybe another league, or maybe it will give you gives you enough time to go meet somebody else who can put you into a higher tier league.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
You gotta
Yeah, you have to wait off.
You gotta wait.
Yeah.
And calculate it. It's something you can work out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I spend so many hours.
Yes.
So you gotta do.
Yeah.
And our own a lot of us don't see that.
Yes. 100%. You're just trying to save a buck, but you're not understanding that you're spending so much of time. Yeah. You're not saving. Exactly.
You're burning your energy, you're burning your time into something.
Yeah.
If there's somebody who can do the job cheaper,
yeah,
at the same quality that you want,
yeah,
then give it to them.
Yes.
Because they are benefit to you.
Correct. They save
more time to concentrate on things that are more
buying time. 100%. Yeah. So
anyway, so then your social media played a role in you.
Yeah,
so
correct. So they check my social media, they check my website, all of those things, and then they were happy to give us a chance. And that's basically how we ended up going to Spain. And then the social media played even a bigger part because then, like Brazil, they contacted me over social media. You know what I'm saying? So they've seen, okay, we've been to Spain, and that was a big club. It wasn't like a small. Yeah, no. You can vibe, or maybe you can come with us. Yeah, I know. So I mean, the Brazil one was a solid one because it's Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro is a big club, one of the oldest clubs in Brazil, and owned by original Ronaldo. So, I mean, when they contacted me, I was like, yes, now, I mean, this is now getting the next level, you know. And I had an interview with, not interview, I had a meeting with the guys. And yeah, we were happy. And then we said, listen, let's strike up a partnership. We obviously went through the terms and conditions. And I said, look, it aligns with what we want to do. And inshallah, next year.
Nice, very nice. Cool. So, locally, do you think there's enough? Do you think the talent is there to go?
I think talent is there.
Do you think our local football associations and football clubs and I'm talking about the higher tier,
yeah,
Sundown,
yeah,
Supersport United is still a team.
Supersport United, you see,
it's a very good team.
Yeah, so no, excellent. Supersport still, Randburg, all
getting
excellent.
Into those clubs.
Yeah.
Do you think they're losing out on local talent in other?
Come and tell you what. Come and tell you it's fun.
If somebody was playing in this team, look, I'm not pointing a finger at any club. Do you think that local or SAFA or whoever is a controlling body of this need to look at how they scout talent in the time? Do you think it's not done it the right way?
I think the talent is what I was actually gonna say is, and this is one of the things that I was actually looking at now, just in this week, because I seen a boy that was 7 years old sign for West Ham. Right? And I'm thinking, why doesn't Kaizer Chiefs and Supersport or like the big clubs, like I'm talking, okay, Supersport runs an academy, so I'm talking Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Sundowns. Why don't they have like under 6, under 8, under 10, where they go and they scout the ladies, the best of the best in the country, and start putting them in, which aligns with the international standards. You got a Liverpool academy where the ladies are 6 years old being signed. So that likely already he's best of the best at 6, right? Now you put 7 of them together in one team. And those ladies are then being
You
groomed.
look at it from on international stage, right? Like you take players like Ronaldo, Rooney.
Yeah.
Started at a hell of a young age.
Exactly.
I mean, he
Right,
was,
but he played
when he
for
was
pro-
16, he was playing pro.
But
if
we
I'm not
played for
mistaken,
pro
right?
clubs at that age.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the difference.
Why don't we have that? But
That's the
it's
question.
not, it's a culture, you know.
No,
It's not, it's not even,
See, there's also not enough. There's not enough investment in grassroots development in our country. That's our other problem.
Why not approach it from a scout point of view? So I understand that maybe every team doesn't have the resources and the
Yeah.
funds to concentrate on lower teams.
Yeah.
But then you can have a third party, or
Yeah.
like take you guys, is Ola Skoko, who's
Yeah.
scouting
Yeah.
players for international teams.
Yes.
Why don't they approach people like you and say, look, you always are on the field, you always are scouting young,
Yeah.
if you see a likely got potential,
Yeah. Bring
him to the field,
Yeah.
or we'll send a scout
So
out.
yeah, just to do a double check, whatever.
In
Yeah.
the local leagues,
Yes.
and let them scout on it.
Yeah.
Are our local scouting on that level?
Not. That's the problem.
Why?
Very few guys are actually coming down to that level. What they do is they look more at GDL, and also they look at the you see GDL, those things started like 13, 15, 17, 19. By 13 years old already, the development is now there. The development starts at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the important thing.
Because going back to the same point, like how when we started the conditioning,
Exactly.
You have a better chance if the conditioning started at earlier age. You know what I'm
Exactly. So that is where your challenge lies. And I'll be honest with you, there's not enough. And that's the sad thing. And you speak to a lot of coaches and they all agree that there's not enough finances put in or focus put in your under sixes grassroots development. I mean, most of the time your hubs is your schools. Right, so you should have guys from SAFA coming to the schools. So that's where you invest in it. So now they should be in the schools trying to say, okay, listen, there's good footballers here, see what we can do with it. They had the SAFA Transnet School of Excellence. I don't even know if it is running, but I think it is. But they should have more of those.
But World Cup time, there was those big soccer academies that came out in Soweto.
For World Cup.
In Soweto, what happened to those?
For World Cup. That's what it was.
But they still exist today.
No,
nothing. In Soweto it was.
There was a 2022 vision.
There was a
2022 vision. We passed 2022. There was a 2022 vision published by SAFA, where they were supposed to have a certain amount of SAFA coaches at the time. Because if you get SAFA coaching, automatically you're getting better coaching, so you're getting better players. So they were supposed to have been there. There was supposed to have been more football hubs in schools. 2022, it went, it came, it went, it's gone, nothing happened.
Maybe overtaking between towards the end with the tablet.
Okay, maybe. But I mean, where's the next vision? You know what I'm saying? They should have been a 2026.
Do you think there's an opportunity at that level of scouting? I'm not talking of
a challenge to get it. Challenge to get it.
What is your recommendation for that? Do you have a recommendation?
So what we're saying is, listen, firstly, get more SAFA accredited coaches. Send out more. I just found out now, the SAFA B license, 15,000 rand for SAFA B license. Not providing you with accommodation, nothing, 15K for the license. Hell of expensive. So firstly, bring in more licenses. So bring in more dates where the guys can go for their licenses, D license, C license, B license, A license. It makes the coaching very easy there. Number one. Number two, pricing rates at least affordable for us. 15 grand for a coaching license, hell of expensive, right? Then start going down to the school level. So go down, start creating tournaments in school. I mean, again, when you coach in schools, even in your public schools, you don't have enough. You have, I think, one tournament a year. It's not enough. You don't have enough games for them to be being played. Also, those games only start at like grade 5 or 6. So now the like is in grade 1, 2, they're not playing enough. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things. And then also invest in your infrastructure. And then protect the infrastructure. So you got an OPEX budget, right? And then you got a CAPEX budget. So the CAPEX budget, set it up. The OPEX budget, maintain it. The problem is these guys set it up, they don't maintain it.
Do you think you could approach it from the point of how we give our bursary, but then he has to work in the company for X amount of years before he pays up. So fine, you get your SAFA license, but then you work for SAFA for X amount of years. So you build in a network within SAFA and you scouting players at a national team.
So SAFA must have a scouting division. I don't know if they have, but it should be having a scouting division because that will help you with your national teams. And again, look, there is LFA structure, there's an SED structure, so that's where you start pulling your talent from, right? But there might be players in the school that are not playing because maybe they don't have that, transport to get the facility, whatever the case may be. So what happens to those guys? You see what I'm saying? So look, I think there's a lot of work from SAFA. I think there's a lot of work, especially in grassroots development. But again, as one coach, it's very difficult for us to go through.
But like you, Ola Skoko is one academy. And there's a lot of art academies. They do good work.
And good guys, 100%.
So when we get, you do not look at it as get these all to work together within a network that's affiliated to SAFA or somebody else. They can then approach them with talent, and then you don't have to even have a scout. So social media played a role. Video reality play. Send it through to SAFA. You have all the top tier teams sitting there where they can access the logs. And if they see potential in the right, contact the coach and the coach, there's a place for this team. Where's this reality? Bring him to our tribes. Let's see.
So if you go on YouTube and you search Ola Skoko, you'll see there's a couple of videos. So that's how we started also, where we started creating videos of like this, submitted those videos overseas or in South Africa for guys to tell us, listen, we're happy with it, bring them on. Because nowadays they don't
see a player.
They can't. So that's how they see it by video. It's very expensive. Like, okay, Alhamdulillah, we lucky enough to have send players that side and we're going and whatever. But it's very expensive. So the other part of doing it is you do videos. So you do highlight reels of these players, send them over, and then from there, it also creates a football profile for the guy. So there is all of those methods that are being used as well. But yeah, look, it's a difficult thing to try and get the South African system. The South African system, okay, they finished third in the African Cup of Nations. Right, good, excellent. But also look at the football that was played. I don't feel it was at the standard way it can be. I think it can be better. I think they can 100% need more diversity. So those types of things, again, it's come from a point of view where we want our Indian lighties to play, but then again, the Indian mentality is different. Your colored boy mentality is different. Your African boys mentality is different. Your white lighties mentality is different. And again, I say our boys, that is where we lack, is our mentality.
Look, the other thing is, I think, like, take our team, our local team, or even international teams, right? I'm throwing something at you here. I just want I don't know much about football. I watch here in the stuff, but I think I look at the team like Arsenal, for example, right? When Wenger left Arsenal, and then they got a new coach. They stuck with it. And they finally went through a few shitty seasons. And then they started performing. Arsenal has been a team, they never came to the top. They somewhere along the way they lose it. But you could see
you can see this difference.
And then I look at a team like United as an example. They went to the coach doesn't perform, they need to coach doesn't perform, they move to new coach. And they still didn't perform. Do you think that the commitment
very important
for the team
very important
is
it's the same with Klopp, is that they back him and then eventually they started performing.
It's just it's an observation of somebody
but it's the same thing here.
I'm not, like I said, I don't follow soccer. I know players play an important part, coaches play an important part, but when somebody new comes in, it's never just going to work. They were used to a certain style. Or even the new player comes in, they got to adapt, they got to work. So the talent is there, not to say the talent is not there. Talent, it helps you here and there. But it's not the know all and do all of it. Your coach is an important part. And by sticking to the commitment of this is the decision we made. It built a network, it built a community in your team, and you can see the results of it. Is somebody who's an outside evaluator or just evaluating the situation. Look, I reading news. I'm not even saying I watched. I watched a couple of games here and stuff. Is the assessment of my assessment of it? I wouldn't say 100% accurate, but is it in the right lines?
They're about. I'll tell you why. Because again, anything that you're gonna back, like if I show confidence in you and I back you, you're gonna do everything in your power to try and do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm giving you the chance. I'm back. Whereas if I turn around and I say, hey, listen, I'm half-heartedly going into this, so obviously now you don't even have that support from me. You're gonna collapse. You know? So 100% right in that. And it's the same thing here in South Africa. If like example, Soviet was a technical director. I don't know who's technical director now. But again, back though, if his ideas and they try and follow through with the ideas, there is funding, there is money there is money in SAFA where they can do certain things. Again, like a facility example, you want to have the nice facilities. In Spain and Italy, the facilities are insane, impeccable, hell of a quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's what brings it.
It's investment into the structure.
Correct. It's investment.
Into the infrastructure of it as well. That keeps that momentum in there. their growth alive. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
100%.
And that willingness to say, hey, you know what?
100%. I mean, you want to be a competing nation.
opportunity here.
Yeah, you want to be a competing nation. You want to go out there, like, I mean, our box, yeah, we're proud of them. They go out there in the finals. Our cricketers, okay, they choke now and then, but it's not, they compete. Oh, Bafana, we're like, yo,
That's
what's
the
going
thing,
to happen?
but that's the thing. Like, is somebody who's an outsider who's not. Look, I watch sport. I'm not a guy at sport, but
Yeah,
I watch
yeah.
sport. Saying,
Yeah.
you can see when a rugby, oh, he's the fielder.
Yeah.
That plays with passion.
Exactly. Love, their heart.
His heart.
100%.
That's why they one of the most respected teams in the world.
Exactly.
A small country like South Africa
100%.
can hold a trophy like a rugby World Cup trophy.
Exactly. 100%.
It's because there's passion in what they play.
Correct.
Why don't we see that in other sporting destiny?
So, yeah.
You know, like whether you said, everything's okay, we do okay, but you can see now even that investment is not in them, so you can see that the deterioration.
Yes.
And it's not that those don't have the talent.
Yeah. It's there.
It's the backing of them.
100%.
It's like you said, but it also comes down to a mindset and a mentality of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I feel. I feel it's mindset.
That child is now backing, but it takes a lot more. It's a lot more harder to get there, but you can get there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you highlight everybody's situation is different. It's not the same.
Yeah.
In America is much better facilities than what South Africa. But yet we still produce some good players.
We produce some brilliant players. I tell you, even in football, we produce some really, really good footballers. Look, we praying, inshallah, for our first success story. That is why we're pushing so hard, is because we want one of the boys to sign. And you can look, another thing is, and the guys must understand is that it is scary because these opportunities don't just come, right? And obviously you have to pay for your flights and you have to pay for your accommodation and this and that. And that is why parents get a bit skeptical. They're like, hey, listen, is this thing really legit? But that is why we do a full track record so people can see us. And then we want to give the older opportunity. Again, when we played, we never had that opportunity. Imagine us going and playing in Dubai. Right, we're taking off a 10 like this for a pro contract to Dubai. Imagine we had a chance to do that.
But the other thing I'm looking at from your guys' point of view, I mean, you have no open branding sponsors.
No, we don't.
But you've built networks in places that most folks would have never thought of possible.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Despite the lack of
like a big sponsor, 100%.
You know, certain sports you need a sponsor.
No, you have to.
Other sports, if you have a sponsor, it makes it a lot more easier to get to the point.
Yeah. No, Alhamdulillah.
Sponsor is something you look at.
Alhamdulillah, this year we focused a lot more on our sponsors. We've had sponsors throughout the years, where they sponsor some boards at the grounds and stuff. So we appreciate everything they've done. Alhamdulillah, this year. Very, very big company. So they've actually helped us put up lights at our grounds in Flamingo, stationary express packaging and stationers also.
But it does scouting talent though.
So
don't you think sponsors can play a role in it?
No, big role.
Because if they generating or sponsoring a lot of companies have. I'm highlighting the sponsor because somebody else who's doing this or in any industry, and you need a sponsor, you know.
Yeah.
Sponsors look for this. Companies look for this because they allocate budgets. Because I know also work in big companies.
CSR.
They have budgets allocated for sponsorships,
social responsibility and stuff like that.
So don't think, hey, I'm lacking funding. Go to these O's. There's companies out there. Send your emails.
100%.
And like you say, your social media is a good one. You send a reference to that, or you send him a few of your links. You go through it. You'll say, hey, that's what is producing good talent.
Exactly.
He's what's sponsoring you? Look, talent, you say, is there.
Yeah.
We need to locally work on it too, you know. Well, sponsorship, I think, is something
important.
That O's are, especially in a kind of line of work that you do. Sponsorship plays a big part
100%
in how you call your club and stuff like that.
100%.
O's must look at it. And a lot of O's don't know that there's companies out there that will do just like how companies will give you these companies.
Yes.
There's big companies that look for O's that they're willing to sponsor. Not just they don't just sponsor the higher teams also.
Yes.
There are companies that have budgets for other things because it like you say, social responsibility.
Yes. So this year, that's one of our plans. So already, like I'm saying, Fair Price have been excellent. They've come on board. Stationery Express and packaging and stationers have come. Board King have been with us for years. They've been really excellent. And LHC Designs is an architectural company, have also sponsored. They've basically sponsoring kits. And then Iqbal's Auto also sponsoring kits. So Amandla's Air Conditioning. So there's a couple of guys that have been supporting us, alhamdulillah, over the years.
Your sponsorship started within the community and the people
within the community.
So that's network.
Correct.
So
100%.
Even your club, when you went overseas the first time, they spoke to you.
Yeah.
You weren't shy to speak to them.
Yeah, 100%.
The point is a lot of us are shy.
Yes, correct.
You won't ask the question.
Yes.
Or you won't
And shy of rejection. That's what they're scared.
Yep.
They're scared about going there and
If-
saying no.
if you
he
let-
says no, he
If
says
the
no.
O says no, he says no. Or if the O
100%.
says no, ask him, you know what, bro? Why did you say
Explain
no?
to me why. Yeah,
You know, I'm
100%.
not to be funny, but
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
criteria are you
What
looking
can I?
at?
Yeah. What
So
can
when
I
I
also
come to you
better?
the next time,
Yeah.
I'm in the criteria. You know what I'm
100%. 100%. So that's one of our things.
saying?
We're looking.
It's not failure.
We're
You
looking
can
at
look at it as
Yeah.
no, as a failure, or
Yes.
how do I fix it?
Yes.
How do I get to the
100%.
point where I was willing to
Correct. So one of our big things this year is to try and look for good sponsors. So we're looking at like, another thing we need is a quantum. Like I was in Roshni now this week trying to look for a quantum that we can buy as an academy, because to transport the lights up in our night, it's a hell of a difficult. Just this weekend, Panorama, we went to go and play. I went 2 trips. I literally sold my car to buy a bakkie. I don't even like bakkies, but I bought one because I can fit more kids inside, so that we can then travel. And I had to do 2 trips. I had to go there, drop them off, come back, pick up the rest, go again. So transport has been a real challenge. So we're looking at guys like Southern Toyota to see if they can assist us, or guys that basically
I
run
know
cars.
1-2 guys.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
make a few phone calls.
No, perfect. I'll appreciate it. Look, one of our big
no
things is
guarantees. No guarantees.
No, look, we
but
try. Like we say, we
maybe
try.
they can put
So
something
yeah,
together.
so that's one of our big things. We're also now busy, sort of off the record, with a sports center. So we're trying to build something in Lens where you can really be proud of it, where you go there to look for talent. So you create the sports center where all these lights are in.
But is Lens do you think Lens is the right place for it?
I think Lens has a lot of talent. I think Lens, and you see also, like, what we do is we cater to El Dorado Park, to Soweto.
It's like having a shop, ne?
Yeah.
You can have a shop in the right location, in the wrong location.
Yeah.
In a shop it's the exact same shop,
Yeah,
but one is here and one is
Is
here.
it- yeah.
Two same area.
Yeah.
One is on the main road and one is
Obviously the one is going to
away
do
from
way
the
better. Yeah.
the one does way better than the other.
Yeah.
And it's not because the other is not a lack of shop. It's
Yeah.
just that where you are,
Location is important.
your location is important. It's bringing the right feet into your
Yes.
into the store.
Yeah.
So you can generate and you can turn it around. You know what I'm saying?
Agree. Yeah.
Location for you
Yeah.
also needs to account for that.
Yes.
Because you want to have a lighty from Houghton who doesn't want to travel to Lens.
100%.
But also you got to evaluate how is my talent structure in how I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yes. Yes.
Not to say that
You see, that's what I'm saying.
that Houghton talent is more talent in Soweto than it is in Houghton or Alex or
Yes,
wherever
yes,
it is
yes,
for
100%.
that matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about your network is there, so that's why you building your center there.
Yes.
But then there's also others that have destination stores.
Yeah.
They've been around, know them.
Yeah.
So if they on the street behind, doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
They know them. People come to them because that's where
It's
they are.
tried and
You know what I'm
tested.
saying?
100%.
And
So
you
I
see
think
that.
that's one of the things now, the benefits of being as Olaskoko, because we've managed to grow the brand to a point where it's trusted. So people are seeing it now and they're like, okay, listen, if I really want my lighty to do, well in football and be trained nicely and get sort of opportunities and stuff, then Olaskoko is the place to be. And if I don't, if I want to just play social or whatever, then another club or whatever it is the place to be. So also now what's happening is Olaskoko is starting to speak for itself, which alhamdulillah is a good thing.
Yeah.
So
But it didn't happen
anyway, it didn't happen overnight. I can tell you, my friend will tell you, it was a hell of a lot of hard work. But alhamdulillah, we got to a point now, 7 years later, alhamdulillah, we got to a point where, we're doing well. Main things, kids are improving, kids are loving it. You were here now physically at the session. You heard them laughing.
Look, normally our interviews are done, so
No,
quiet
I
environment.
understand. But
doing,
this is a
doing
football
an
coach.
interview here and seeing, even halfway to the interview,
Yes.
you won't see it when you publish it, but you stop the interview. There was a silent header, wasn't feeling too lacquer in the game.
Correct.
You approached him, you spoke to him, you rebuilt his confidence. You know what I'm saying? Those are important things.
Very important.
And that's why your brain speaks for what it is. And in any industry, whether it's what you do or business, whatever it is, all of the successful O's that I've spoken to, honesty and integrity is what built it. If that O today picks up a phone and phones and that's how I met few people.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to this person, they gave me and he said, you know what, I know so and so.
Yeah.
I'll give him a call. And because if I had phoned them, they would never have taken it.
Yes.
But because that person
it's a relationship.
Phoned them,
100%.
they said, okay, come see me. And then I went in and seen him and I spoke to them.
Yeah.
And with me, I would like to get everybody I've met onto a podcast who has businesses. Not everybody does it.
Yes.
But I still go meet the O.
Yeah.
Because the value of their knowledge and what they share with you plays an important part in how you choose to do your daily life
100%.
and how you choose to share the journey. Or I can share some of their advices
Hmm.
when we having these conversations.
Yes, correct. 100%. That I can take away and I can sort of hold on.
So
100%.
you're still using that knowledge. You're
Yeah.
still parting that knowledge in some way, shape, or
Yes.
form. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying?
100%.
And it's an important thing.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
No, 100%. Agreed.
It's that integrity. It's a culture of having the determination, having that mindset.
Yeah.
That
Hell of
grows
important. Yeah.
And especially like if you want to play ball at the pro level, I mean, you need a strong mindset.
You need a strong mind. Very strong mind. Very, very strong mind. Yeah. 100%.
Hey, Nish, been good talking to you. I think a conversation could go on for another 2 hours.
No, it can. It can. We can speak for very long.
But right now,
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. If you need anything else, you let me know. I'm around.
Thanks, man.
So, I'll take a seat. Now I must push the